If you always lose the ball, chances are it's not just because you lack skills, it's because your brain and body aren't connected under stress. These drills connect them. They build that sixth sense. They make your body trust itself again. At the end of these, check your proprioception level with this exercise. Stand with one foot and close your eyes, and then see how much you can hold in that position without shaking or moving. If it is too easy, do it on an unstable soft surface like a pillow. The more you stay balanced without moving, the better. Now let's keep going because there's more to learn if you really want to stop losing the ball. Watch how Eden has it. Used to handle pressure when he was terrorizing Premier League defenders. Hazard wasn't the biggest guy on the pitch, he wasn't the strongest, but he was almost impossible to dispossess when running at full speed. He subconsciously understood that ball protection is not all strength, it's physics and psychology. When Hazard felt a defender closing in while he was sprinting down the wing, he'd do something brilliant. He'd place his leg and body between the defender and the ball, creating what I call a scissors trap. The defender suddenly faced a lose-lose situation. Either they go through Hazard to get the ball, which means a foul and a dangerous free kick, or they back off and let him keep running with the ball. It's a mental game as much as it is a physical one, but this only works if you understand the biomechanics of effective shielding. First, you need to drop your body height closer to the ground. Think about this analogy. A pole stays upright very differently from a pyramid. A pyramid with its wide base is much harder to knock over than a tall, straight object. That's exactly what you're doing by lowering your center of gravity. When you bend your knees and lean into the defending opponent while maintaining ball position, you become almost impossible to knock off balance. Your body becomes a stable platform that can absorb contact while keeping the ball secure. In this position, you're loaded like a spring. You can explode in any direction the moment an opportunity appears. This is the difference between passive shielding and active protection. Passive shielding is just trying to keep the ball away from the defender. Active protection is using your body position to control the defender's options while keeping yourself ready to attack. Now, what force should you apply against your opponent? The key is positioning your buttocks, hips, and legs to create a barrier between the ball and the defending player. Use your arms subtly for balance, not a push to the point of fouling, but to match any pressure the defender is applying. Ronaldinho was a master at this. Watch his old clips, and you'll see how he uses arms strategically to create just enough space to keep possession and stay in control. He never pushed. He just made contact and let the defender push against him, using their own force against them. This is what I mean by pressure absorption. You don't have to respond with brute strength to pressure. You have to accept it and redirect it. But here's a common mistake players do when shielding. They stay static. Watch how players like Busquets or Verratti operate in tight spaces. The ball is never still. They're constantly making tiny adjustments, tiny touches that keep the defender off balance. It creates new angles for passes or escapes, and it prevents the defender from timing their tackle because they never know exactly. Start slow, dribble in place, or in a small area while forcing yourself to keep your head up. It'll feel uncomfortable at first. Your brain will want to look down to check where the ball is. Resist that urge. Trust your feet to know where the ball is. As you improve, increase the tempo and try to get as many touches as possible while still keeping your vision up. But here's a training trick that will accelerate this development. Use a tennis ball at home. Dribble it around the house without looking. Sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It forces your feet to become more sensitive to the ball, training through close control. The smaller ball forces more precision. The indoor environment creates obstacles that require constant adjustment, and the lack of visual feedback forces you to develop feel. So learn to lower your center of gravity and use your arms properly to keep the defender away. Also learn to become a smart diver to get fouls in dangerous situations. Dive in a way that you get the ball with your hands and stop the game. So in case the referee does not whistle, you won't give a chance for the opposing team to get the ball. But most of the time, the referee will give you a foul in these cases. Now let's talk about scanning. Most players only scan when they have the ball. Elite players scan before they receive it, while they're receiving it, and continuously while they have it. To develop this habit, you have to be a smart diver. You need to train your awareness systematically. Before you touch the ball, quickly identify the 3 nearest opponents and the 3 nearest teammates. This gives you a baseline understanding of the immediate threats and opportunities. While you're shielding the ball, use peripheral vision and sound to track movement around you. Defenders make noise when they move. Teammates call for passes. The crowd reacts to dangerous situations. All of this information is available if you train yourself to process it while maintaining ball control. But here's an advanced scanning technique that most players never learned. Predictive scanning. Instead of just seeing where players are now, elite players scan to see where players are going. They read body language, momentum, positioning to predict movement before it happens. When a defender is approaching, experienced players can tell from their angle of approach, their speed, and their body position exactly how they plan to make the tackle. This allows them to prepare a counter move before the defender even commits. This predictive ability comes from thousands of ally. I always emphasize the importance of competitive environments. Pick-up game, small-sided match, 1-versus-1 training session. These are opportunities to develop your ability to read and predict defender behavior. Now I want you to understand something very important, something that most players completely miss. You've probably been told your whole life that losing the ball is the worst thing you can do. Maybe a coach screamed at you after a failed dribble. Maybe a teammate gave you that dirty look. And so now, every time you're under pressure, your first thought is don't lose the ball. Not can I make a difference? Not can I break through the line? Just don't mess up. That mindset is destroying your game. Now take a look at the graph. It shows the average number of times a player gets dispossessed per game on the x-axis, and how often they lose the ball due to bad control y-axis. You'll notice some names you probably didn't expect to be this sloppy: Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, Salah, Mahrez. These are and were world-class players, Ballon d'Or contenders, icons. But they all lose the ball a lot. Neymar especially is one of the top on both axes. He gets dispossessed and has unsuccessful touches frequently. But does anyone question his impact? What really matters is what he does in the moments he doesn't lose the ball. You see, losing the ball isn't the issue, playing scared is. If you're too worried about making a mistake, you will never take the kind of risks that actually change the outcome of a match. Assists, line-breaking passes, solo runs, shots from tight angles, none of that happens. If you're in fear mode, most of you try to avoid criticism instead of aiming to make an impact. You take the easy pass, you slow the play down, you try to look clean, and that's exactly why coaches stop trusting you in high-pressure moments. Now let's go deeper. Watch that Yamal performance in the Inter versus Barcelona game. He lost the ball multiple times. I'm talking 7, maybe even 8 times before the first half was even done. But what made it special was that not once did it affect his body language. Not once did he look afraid to try again. In fact, he only became more dangerous. And there's more. Most of the times he lost the ball were in neutral zones, or the final third. That's not a coincidence. That's intelligence. That's strategy. If you're going to lose the ball, do it where your team has the highest chance of recovering quickly, or where your risk can create reward. That's how top-level players think. They're not afraid to try a nutmeg, a back heel, or a cutback in the box because they've learned something that changes everything. Mistakes are part of the process, not the end of it. So now I want you to ask yourself this. Are you playing to avoid losing the ball, or are you playing to make something happen? Are you passing backwards to look clean, or are you scanning for vertical options and trusting yourself? Are you thinking like someone who fears judgment, or someone who wants to dominate? Because if you shift your mindset, even just a little from don't mess up to make an impact, your entire career will shift with it. You'll start unlocking a new level of confidence. So from now on, I want you to take pride in taking risks. Learn how to take calculated risks. Yes, lose the ball sometimes, but do it for the right reasons because you're trying to create something. And never forget, even the greatest players, if you're still here right now, I want you to take a second and realize what that actually means. 99% of players clicked off this video minutes ago. They got what they wanted or thought they did and left. But you stayed, you listened, you reflected. That already tells me you're not like the rest. So if you're yes, I was with you Medlem in this video. I hope that this channel will live up to your requirements and that you will benefit from the interesting information in the field of football. Please share the video with your friends. Please press the subscribe button and support us with like. Until we meet again.